When people think of North Korea, they often imagine military parades, nuclear missiles, and strict government control. But behind the headlines and political tensions lies the everyday reality of nearly 26 million people trying to live normal lives under one of the most centralized and tightly controlled political systems in the world. Daily life in North Korea is shaped by ideology, surveillance, limited resources, and strict loyalty to the ruling leadership. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, has been ruled by the same family since its founding in 1948. The system was created by Kim Il-sung, later led by his son Kim Jong-il, and today governed by his grandson Kim Jong-un. This dynastic rule is central to understanding everyday life in the country. The political system and control. North Korea operates under a single-party system controlled by the Workers' Party of Korea. The ideology of Jukki, meaning self-reliance, is deeply embedded in society. Citizens are taught from childhood that their country is strong, independent, and constantly under threat from foreign enemies, especially the United States and South Korea. Political loyalty is not optional. It determines your opportunities in life. The government uses a classification system often referred to as songbun, which ranks families based on their loyalty to the regime. Your family background affects where you live, what job you can have, and even how much food you receive. Surveillance is widespread. Neighborhood units known as inminban monitor residents, and citizens are encouraged to report suspicious behavior. There is very little privacy. Criticizing the government can lead to imprisonment, forced labor, or worse. Daily work and employment in North Korea. Most jobs are assigned by the state. People typically work in government-run factories, farms, construction projects, or military-related industries. Technically, everyone has a job, but many state industries struggle due to lack of resources and outdated equipment. In cities like Pyongyang, life appears more stable and organized. Pyongyang is reserved mostly for loyal citizens and elites. It has better housing, reliable electricity, and access to special stores. However, in rural areas and smaller towns, infrastructure is weaker and electricity shortages are common. After the severe famine of the 1990s, known as the Arduous March, informal markets called jangmadang began to appear. These markets became essential for survival. Today, although technically controlled by the state, these markets allow people to buy and sell food, clothing, and imported goods, often from China. Food and survival food availability is one of the biggest challenges in daily life. The government operates a public distribution system, PDS, which distributes rice and other staples. However, the system is inconsistent, especially outside Pyongyang. Many families rely on small private gardens or the black market to survive. Corn, rice, kimchi, and cabbage are common foods. Meat is considered a luxury for many people and is often eaten only on holidays or special occasions. Malnutrition remains a serious issue, particularly in rural areas. International sanctions and limited agricultural resources make food production difficult. Although conditions have improved since the famine of the 1990s, food insecurity still affects many households. Education and indoctrination. Education is free and mandatory in North Korea. Schools emphasize mathematics, science, and technical skills, but also strong ideological education. From kindergarten onward, children learn songs and stories praising the leadership. Portraits of the leaders hang in every classroom and home, and students must bow to statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il on special occasions. History lessons portray the ruling family as heroic figures who protected the nation from foreign aggression. Students participate in mass games and performances, which are highly choreographed displays of unity and loyalty. These events are both cultural celebrations and political demonstrations. Media and information control. The government tightly controls all media. Television, radio, and newspapers are state-run. Foreign media is banned, and accessing outside information is illegal. Radios are often fixed to government frequencies, so they cannot be tuned to foreign broadcasts. The internet is almost entirely inaccessible to ordinary citizens. Instead, there is a limited internal network called Pyongyang, which offers state-approved content. Only high-ranking officials and certain researchers have restricted access to the global internet. Despite these restrictions, some outside information enters through smuggled USB drives, DVDs, and Chinese mobile phones near the border. South Korean dramas and foreign movies are popular among those who can secretly access them, though severe punishment can follow if discovered. Housing and living conditions. Housing is assigned by the government. In Pyongyang, high-rise apartments dominate the skyline, and newer construction projects are often showcased as symbols of national progress. However, outside the capital, buildings are older and sometimes poorly maintained. Electricity shortages are common in many parts of the country. In rural areas, power may only be available for a few hours a day. Heating in winter can also be unreliable, leading families to use coal or wood-burning stoves. Despite economic hardships, many families decorate their homes carefully. Every house must display portraits of the leaders, which must be kept clean at all times. Inspectors sometimes visit homes to check whether portraits are properly maintained. Healthcare and public services. Healthcare in North Korea is officially free. However, hospitals often lack modern equipment, medicine, and reliable electricity. In rural clinics, medical supplies can be extremely limited. Doctors and nurses are trained, but resources are scarce. Patients sometimes bring their own medicine or pay unofficial fees to receive better treatment. Preventive healthcare campaigns, such as vaccination programs, exist but may face logistical challenges. Religion and belief. Officially, North Korea allows religious freedom, but in practice, religion is heavily restricted. The government views organized religion as a threat to state ideology. There are a few showcase churches in Pyongyang, but independent religious practice is largely prohibited. Instead, loyalty to the ruling family functions almost like a state religion. Monuments, statues, and portraits reinforce the image of the leadership as protectors and guiding figures. Military presence in daily life. Military influence is visible everywhere. North Korea follows a military-first policy known as Songun. Military service is mandatory for most young men and many women. Service can last for years. Uniformed soldiers are a common sight on streets, construction sites, and farms. The military is not only a defense force but also a major economic workforce, involved in building infrastructure and managing industries. Social life and entertainment. Despite strict control, people still find ways to enjoy life. Families celebrate birthdays, weddings, and national holidays. Traditional music, dance, and sports are part of social culture. On major holidays, such as the Day of the Sun, celebrating Kim Il-sung's birthday, citizens participate in ceremonies and community events. These celebrations combine patriotism with genuine community spirit. Young people increasingly show curiosity about foreign fashion and music, especially in urban areas. Although Western styles are officially discouraged, subtle changes in clothing and hairstyles can sometimes be seen. Fear and consequences. One of the most defining aspects of daily life is fear of punishment. Political prison camps, known as kwanliso, hold thousands of prisoners. Offenses can include attempting to flee the country, criticizing leadership, or consuming banned media. Punishments can extend to entire families under a principle of guilt by association. This creates a culture of caution and silence, where people are careful about what they say even to close friends. Differences between image and reality. The government carefully manages its international image. Foreign visitors are typically shown carefully selected locations in Pyongyang. Clean streets, modern buildings, and organized performances create a picture of stability and unity. However, life outside showcase areas can be much harsher. Economic sanctions, natural disasters, and limited trade contribute to shortages. Yet, despite these challenges, many North Koreans focus on family life, daily routines, and survival. Resilience and humanity. It is important to remember that North Koreans are not defined only by their government. They are teachers, farmers, students, parents, and children with hopes and dreams. Many are proud of their country and believe in the information they are taught. Others quietly question it but have limited options. Human resilience is visible in the growth of local markets, small acts of kindness among neighbors, and the determination to create normalcy in abnormal circumstances. Conclusion. Daily life in North Korea is a complex mixture of strict political control, economic hardship, social discipline, and personal resilience. Under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, the country continues to balance limited economic changes with strong ideological enforcement. For many citizens, survival depends on adaptability, navigating state rules while quietly participating in small-scale market activities. While the world often focuses on nuclear weapons and political tensions, the real story lies in the daily lives of millions. trying to build families, work jobs, and find moments of happiness under one of the world's most rigid systems. Understanding daily life in North Korea requires looking beyond propaganda and headlines to see the human reality within a tightly controlled state, where fear and loyalty coexist, and where ordinary people continue to live, hope, and endure.